What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Satisfactory video where we have to address a pretty big problem, which in this case is our power network. You see, I have been so fixated on getting the best item in the game, that being the hover pack, that I neglected one of the most important parts of the game, which is power. With no battery banks to rely on, we're closing in on a full system failure, which is not good. To solve this, we'll finally be building a fuel plant. The entire process is very simple. All we have to do is take oil and turn it into heavy oil residue, and take that heavy oil residue, mix it with a bit of water, and we make fuel. And we throw the fuel in the generators. 134 of them. This humongous two-step process turns 600 crude oil into 1600 fuel, just like that. But before we can start building it, we do need to make a blueprint. Okay, so we are in our general area where we want to make this fuel plant. I want to show you guys kind of what I've cooked up. We got this new blueprint, and this is just 2 refineries with some metal pillars clipped into them. I don't have lumen on right now, but some lighting in the bottom. So this is just like a portrait sign on a pillar, and I do have power hooked up in the back here, or ready to be hooked up. So we just grab each connection and send it to the next one. I have this orange bit right here as well, and I'm not set on colors yet with the white and orange. So yeah, this is what we've got with the 2 refineries. Lights at the top, 2 lights at the bottom, and I have a idea of what I want this to look like, so I'm hoping this kind of plays along with that, but I'm sure the design will evolve and change over time. But yeah, so the other thing is I have started this platform, although I feel like this is going to be a little bit too small, considering one of these is like 3 foundations wide for 2 refineries. So we are probably going to need to expand this further south. So our process is going to be very simple. We're just going to do 30 crude oil to heavy oil residue, which is 40 heavy oil residue with a polymer resin byproduct, which we will deal with later. We're then going to go from heavy oil residue and combine that with some water. So we're going to take 50 of that residue and combine it with 100 water to make 100 fuel. So we basically double our fuel output. So very good and very simple. So this is going to take, for 600 crude oil, it's going to take 20 refineries, and those 20 refineries are going to output 800 heavy oil residue, and then 800 heavy oil residue plus 1600 water equals that 1600 fuel. Okay, and after about 20 minutes, this is what I have come up with. Now, some of you guys might be like, whoa, you got all this built and didn't show us? And to everybody that is thinking that right now, this took about 20 minutes, and then most of that 20 minutes was me placing these pillars right here, which is just an alternating pillar design, very simple. But if you guys are interested in seeing any of this built live and more extensively, as our builds will get bigger in the future, feel free to check out my Twitch. Link will be in the description. I'm going to start streaming basically every day, and yeah, you guys can catch live builds and we can hang out and chat and run ideas off each other for what we want to do with the world. But back to the build. So all we have done is place down 20 refineries for the oil, 10 on each side. The heavy oil will get sent to blenders, which I started experimenting with right here, and all of the resin, which will be temporarily sunk, will get put into these refineries with some water to output 80 plastic and 80 rubber, which can feed some other small factory later on. The blender situation is interesting because I have wanted to do something like this for a long time, and now I think I finally figured out a decent way of doing it. I've always wanted to clip the blenders from down below, so all you see is the top spinning around when they're active, constant, and we can enclose this and everything. So what we are going to be doing is making 2 lines of 8 blenders, because we need 16, and they'll be in line with these other refineries here, so logistics will be very smooth. All we're going to do is make a line. Once we have 2 lines of 8, we are going to encase them probably with glass, but we'll see what we end up doing after we have everything built. But priority is logistics, but I will be alternating between the buildings and the functionality of the power plant and making paths and some other stuff. Like, I'll probably play around with the roofing. I'll probably play around with just the whole top side of this build, because it is going to be a lot harder. So bear with me on that. But we do have to get the power up and running, or at least part of it. So we got to focus on that. And I got to place 15 more of these blenders, and I got to create a whole subfloor to hold them. But I don't have to add another logistics floor, which is a blessing. So I'm gonna keep laying concrete. Okay, and not too long later, we have all of our blenders put down. Not too bad. The only tedious part of it was making sure they're all lined up properly on the foundations. As you can see, the center of the blender is in line with some of the foundation lines. So here, and then it splits one foundation the other way. Underneath is pretty dark, but I still managed to run some power lines on some of these foundations on the outside of, or on the outside of the blenders and on the inside. So we should be able to fly around as needed on most of these areas. But as you can see, we still need all of the pipework, and we need all the pipework and logistics for the refineries. But as you might be able to tell by our inventory, we've been throwing down materials, so I need to go restock. Okay, so I just got back and I got a little distracted doing the fun stuff, which is, you know, building and making things look cool. And I was playing around with some designs of the roof here, just because it is gonna, I feel like it's gonna be pretty hard to design like a cool shape that's not super boring. But something I think I might do is give more elevation, because it does feel kind of cramped at the top. I'm not sure yet, but it would give me more flexibility in creating this building, just because we might actually be able to clear these refinery smokestack thingamabobbers. So that is also on the table to be done. I have not done any logistics work, but I also haven't done too much since I got back, other than just kind of mess around with some looks of this. But I think it might be time to get back to doing some logistics. Okay, so I managed to pull myself away from building cosmetics long enough to start working on logistics for the power plant, because we definitely need to make sure we get this done on time. So what I'm doing is I'm sectioning off the refineries, and there's going to be 5 refineries that will feed 4 blenders, and that's going to output 400 fuel. So we'll have 4 lines of 400 fuel, and those can go to separate generator areas. So I have one set of refineries, which is 5 of them, all making 40 apiece. That's 200. 200 line goes into 4 blenders over here, and almost all the blenders will have their own water extractor. So all we're going to be doing here is going to be lining up our water extractor like so, and then we are going to just connect a pipe like so. It's going to be pretty easy, and we should have enough space to just do 1 water extractor per blender, and we just need to underclock them a little bit. So very easy, not hard to do here. And I had to split one of them just because the ground did not let us place a water extractor there. I think the water becomes a little too shallow. So these guys will both need 100. All we have to do is grab a power line, plug it in somewhere along here, and these guys start spinning up. These also have not been connected to power, which we can do, but that is the gist of what we're doing here. It's just a lot of that. And then our outputs, I haven't decided, but they'll probably hook out and then merge somewhere in the middle right here. But that's enough blabbering. Let's keep building. Okay, so let's go over kind of what we got here. And that is, we have 4 blenders ready to output 400 fuel. 400 fuel can supply 13.3 generators at 250%. So what I ended up doing was making this little fancy blueprint right here. Not by fancy, I mean not very fancy, but if we just place it down, you can see what's going on with it. So it has a pipe junction out here, so we can easily connect to other blueprints like this. I added a little bit of light, a little bit of color, that sort of stuff, but it's really basic and a temporary blueprint, which is why it's appropriately named Mark 1. But I wanted to get a set of fuel gens down, and I thought no better reason to make a blueprint that looks halfway decent. Okay, so I went and got I think all the materials I need, I hope. We will find out. We're going to place 2 rows of 7 here, and we need to hook up just 1 fuel line to this. And we need to make sure we overclock this though, because it is not a, if we do not overclock this, I think we're going to have to place down a lot more gens. And I don't really want to do that, especially for a temporary setup, because I have not decided where, kind of where the ideal location would even be. So I don't really want to commit to an area and then not like it, you know, a little while later. It looks like 7 to me. And the beauty about this thing is we can mirror this and just stick it right back on the other side. So we can just attach here. We can do the same thing the whole way down. The only thing that I think I did forget to do in this blueprint was set a power outlet. Oh, and it looks like I'm inside the thing. There we go. Yeah, I think I did forget to set up a power outlet here. But it's okay. I can just set up like these right here, and I'm gonna hook these up real quick. Okay, and after enough time of hooking up power and logistics here, the only thing that we have left to do is throw in power shards on all of these, because all of these need to be overclocked to 250%, except this one, which needs to be underclocked to 83 to only consume 10. So basically, this side is 7 generators, and I'll just go over this real quick with you. 7 generators, and they're each at 250%. So they're going to consume 30 instead of 12, which means this side of the generators needs to consume 210. Now, the other one is 6 times 30 as well. So that's 280, and then there's the 7th gen, which is consuming 10, which is going to be 190. I have a valve going to the other side, eliminating to 190, and then this one limits to 210. Combined, that is 400, so that's still using all fuel. It's just one side is a 20 difference. So other than that, this will eventually start working properly. I do need to make sure that all of my logistics are fine, because this shouldn't be getting started actually, but it is. So there's probably some pipe work somewhere that needs to be fixed. So we'll make sure we do that. But everywhere up till this valve is a Mark II. And we don't need a Mark II on these two. So those are fine. Down below, we still need all the logistics for the other 3 sets of blenders, and that will come with time. I just wanted to make sure we got this power up and running because I did not want to have a power failure. Okay, so after troubleshooting for pretty much far too long, I have discovered that Satisfactory does not approve of the pairing of floor holes and 4-meter foundations. So I switched all these to 1-meter foundations, and they all properly connected. Now they all looked like they were connected, but they weren't letting any fluid through, which was a big problem, as you can probably assume. So now I have our oil. So I have 5 of these all hooked up. Still need to do the other 3 sets, but these ones should all be running fine now. It seems like the fuel is all working. I have power shards in them. I haven't triple checked them, but I have double checked them. They all seem to be working fine. So we shouldn't have any issues with this. We should have a consistent power band once these are completely hooked up and everything. I think we're waiting for some of the fuel to get up here still, but I mean, pretty much we are okay. So yeah, 8450 is our target number because we should be producing 5K with these, and we can see our blenders are working properly. These 4 are green and spinning. So now that we have our just shy of 8500 megawatts, we can safely finish our logistics from down below, and then we can start designing our factory. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get all our logistics done. We're gonna then design the factory, and then we'll finish building all of the fuel generators after we finish the building. I think it'll be easier to figure out where they should go and how they should look once we finish the production. So I think we're going to switch to that plan, and I'm going to make sure that for this side as well that we remove all level 4 or 4-meter foundations and switch them to 1-meter foundations wherever there's going to be a conveyor hole, because that was so not fun, very unfun, very not satisfactory. But again, if you guys want to see any of this extended gameplay builds, we are doing anywhere between 2 and 7-hour streams every day and doing all this live, hanging out, chatting. So if you guys want to join, just feel free to stop by. Okay guys, and live on stream we changed all of this tunnel up to incorporate a new color. So I incorporated turquoise, I guess, and we did end up raising the roof technically, right? I think we did about 8 meters here, and it gave us a lot more room to deal with the refineries and designing the roof and whatnot, which was nice and convenient. So yeah, we changed all the colors from white to I think a cyan or turquoise or whatever you would. No, yeah, it's cyan or turquoise, one of the two. I added a nice little banner here, and again, I think we built every part of this was built live on stream. So anytime you guys want to see anything cool like this and just be a part of the build, we are live on Twitch. But I was experimenting with a couple different things, encasing different things with glass and such, but I'm not sure that all of this will stay. Some of it will, but not all of it. Fuel gens are still going strong, but I did want to show you that that tunnel. And then I actually am really liking the color design here. I've been really wanting to incorporate color, and so orange and this turquoise is going really well together. So I think we're going to continue this kind of color design, at least not necessarily the direct design. Doesn't have to be, but the color design I really do like. So I want to try to incorporate that as we keep designing through this build. So as we keep designing through this build, I want to keep up the color scheme, and we'll see where it leads. But I am liking it so far. I really do like how it's been looking. Okay, so we are back down in the depths of the logistic pool we have down here, and I have, I believe, gotten all of the heavy oil residue and resin should all be working exactly kind of where and going where it needs to be going. It's not going to flow constantly until it's being used or whatever, but we won't be able to stress test quite yet. But I believe this should all be working. So now we just have to hook up the last 8 blenders, and we'll have all 4 lines ready for use. So let's get that done real quick. All right, and with the magic of editing, we have all 4 types of 400 and only 1 being used. So we have the facilities now producing 1600 fuel per minute, but we are only using 400 right now. So we have the extra 1200 to, you know, use and consume and devour later on. But I also kind of want to take a break from logistics again and continue building, which is, you know, part of the fun. I've been liking these angled little bits, and I want to use them more if I can. That's something I'm trying to, you know, look into, but again, I'm not really sure where to use them. But I would like to I really want to try to use them somewhere right about here. So we have to extend this walkway. There's no way that we are going to display 4 foundations wide. So I think we're going to stick with the 2 foundations wide, which means we have to move this, or widen this, sorry, to 3 wide instead of 1 wide. So like all this is going to get deleted, and we would throw in, which is going to take some time, and then we'd like throw in our, you know, this would be like 3 wide, and then this side is also going to get, you know, deleted and whatnot, and it would end up being this wide right here. We need some half foundations, so this becomes a very big space, and so we might end up running something down the middle lane right here. That's also a possibility. So we'll see what we end up doing there. But we could do like a whole factory cart thing, or if we might be able to do a factory cart down below as well. That's also an option. Well, I think after multiple days of building, that is going to conclude today's episode. We have all the functionality of the build done, producing that 1600 fuel, but we still have a lot of designing to do, and I wanted to get that more in a separate video. Like, we haven't even fully completed our first hallway. So we are going to end off today's episode. I appreciate anybody actually watching the whole episode, and anybody who really wants to see how we make all of these videos can check out the Twitch in the description. We are streaming pretty much every day. It's a great time. You're not going to regret it. But I think that's it for me today. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
I'm slick with words, tongue sharp, you left in thirds. You pitching verbs, I knock it out, I'm flipping birds. While smoking herbs, I'm blocking out what often hurts. I'm moving herds, it's me, my family, money merge. We crave the day that we can finally start to splurge.